In today's episode, I'm helping you connect with your children in a really practical, useful way which gives them ownership, independence and responsibility. Hi there, and thanks for joining me on today's episode. I hope you're doing super well wherever you are. Thank you for your feedback on the last video. I'm glad you're really enjoying it and you're getting something from it, and I'll continue to do as many as I can. Goal is to do weekly. And in these episodes, I want to try and give you some real value, but hopefully give you a bit of insight into me as a parent and give you some background. And I think maybe from all that, you'll get something which is going to be beneficial for you and your family, or mainly your kids. But first, I just wanted to say that, the absolute joy it's been the last few weeks going into schools and talking with a number of age groups of kids. And my focus has really been, and it's getting more and more refined and getting better at what I do, has been about explaining resilience more and more to them, and actually really taking it away from the fluffy words which sometimes can get caught up maybe since primary school, and actually really stop and actually understand what they mean. And one of the things I go on about is about how resilience isn't a shield from problems, but it's actually about how we bounce back from problems. So the problem has happened and then how we bounce back. And I've had some amazing response from the pupils I've been working with and the teachers, and it's been an absolute joy and delight to think that maybe not all of the pupils I'm talking to will get it, but for a few that do, then they can make a massive difference in how they're approaching some of the challenges. And some of the age groups are going through prep for exams and so on, and this becomes quite vital for them to understand that, how we bounce back from problems, how we deal with ourselves, and how we kind of carry ourselves, our self-worth is so valuable. In addition, it's been a great week for me as a parent. I've done a little bit of a give myself a little task which has been working out really, really well. Over Christmas, I got a cookbook, a vegan cookbook. All recipes are 15 minutes, nice and simple. And I think maybe, like you as a parent, it can be pull on your creative strings to try and come up with new recipes or new ways to give the kids a nice meal in some form. Of course, hopefully you've got a few of the go-to meals you can pull out the bag, but after a while you want to bring something new to the table. And so I got this kind of crazy idea to ask my kids to go through the cookbook, choose something that they would like to eat, and then they and I would cook it together. And that's been super successful. My youngest son chose a sweet corn chowder. My eldest son chose a casserole with a butter bean mash on top, and both were wonderful. That is to one side. The reason I share it was that I wanted them to appreciate food and cooking, to learn how to cook not just with their eyes but with their nose and with their ears as well, how they can appreciate the process that's involved. Now, the way I did it was to cut a lot of the things up in advance, so that took the mundanity out and left them to focus on the cooking, to understand about flavors, to understand when things go in and what they're looking for. And I really wanted to step away from being the one to dive in and stir, and let them ask me when they wanted to get some help on something. And I've yet to do this with my daughter, and this is what we'll do next week, but I really found it a pleasure to share this time with them. We went out shopping, got the ingredients together, we prepared together, and then we ate all together the meal that they had cooked. And I know schools do a lot of this anyway, but it's been really special to bring it into the home so that they can enjoy it and they can get a lot from that. I think there's so many things that we can miss out on as practical skills that would be useful for our kids as they grow up. And I think cooking, understanding the simplicity that cooking can be, and then the rewards of cooking for other people, is really, really vital, or at least to me personally. So if you feel the same, maybe try this out, because I got a lot of benefit from it. The kids really enjoyed the experience, and it's nice that they can provide for the family in some way. I think there's something in that that's really powerful. And in addition to that, they are growing their sense of independence. They're kind of stepping out of that kind of role of being provided for, and they can begin to dictate, as it were, or control or determine what happens in their day. And this is a fantastic journey for them. I think it's one that as parents, or at least I believe, is a really good idea, to allow them to practice, to kind of fail and try things out. Like I was saying back to the beginning there, it's about trial and error. Trial and error, and often it's way more error than it's actually success. But this is a way of doing that, and in some ways them trying it out and getting the enjoyment from it really, I think, grounds them in a wonderful skill. And again, aside from the fact that as parents and as children we're bonding together, but it's wonderful to have that time with them and they get so much from it. So maybe when you watch this you can think about giving your kid the cookbook and say choose something and find a way that they can contribute to the majority of it or just some of it, but give them, and this is the point at the end of the whole episode, allow them the ownership of doing it. And that, I think, is the real key, as well as the practical skills, which hopefully are obvious. So take that with you for this weekend. Hope you get some value from it. If you do, if you like the idea, please drop me a comment. Would love to hear from you. If you've got a particular problem or challenge you're facing, don't forget, always DM me on Instagram or Twitter and I'll answer to every single one of you. And if you've got any particular problem, you can comment down here as well. I would genuinely love to hear from you. And don't forget, maybe there's someone you know in your friends or family or in your community who would benefit from this video. So please give it a like and a share. I would greatly appreciate it. But for now, have a fantastic time wherever you are, and I'll catch you on the next episode.